Welcome back to the Current Electric High School Basketball Boys State Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy. I'm Mike McGivern alongside Hall of Fame coach Paul Wallersheim from Greendale Martin Luther. So tip-off is right around the corner for the first state semifinal in Division III as Freedom takes on Elk Mound. The second matchup in Division III features number 2 Milwaukee Academy of Science versus number 3 the Elk Cats from Lake Mills. Let's start with the Novas from Milwaukee Academy of Science. They're 23-1 overall. They're coached by Agape Keys, 19th year as the head coach. They are led by the Iowa State commit senior Jamarian Bateman and senior Agape Key Jr. Agape Senior talks about coaching his son.
It's been more than real good, been a blessing, just to see him
Amen.
grow and be the young man that he is, him holding his grades higher than a 3-point, it's a lot of work, especially coming out of the city of Milwaukee where, you go through great challenges down here. And, him staying focused is a true blessing to me, and listening to whoever say something to him. So it's been great for me to coach him through his 4 years, and him being hungry and seeing me go through the process before he even got to high school. He's like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to help my dad achieve his goals.
You know, Coach, the program that Agape has put together at Milwaukee Academy of Science is pretty impressive.
Year after year, this is a battle-tested group. They've each year they're either at state or they're right there in the sectional semis or sectional finals. Last year they lost to the state champion Thomas More in the sectional semis. And talk about battle-tested. They've got wins over West Dallas Central, Nicolet, Fond du Lac, Eau Claire Memorial, Westosha Central, Arrowhead, Peoria Central. There's nobody that, there may be some other teams in Division I that maybe match that kind of tough schedule, but there's nobody in D3 that matches that schedule.
Do you like the idea of setting up a schedule as tough as he set up?
I think so for what he's trying to accomplish. There's nothing left for Coach Keys. They want he needs a state championship, and to get there, you play a schedule like that, he's so ready for whatever the state tournament's going to throw at him.
You know, you are coaching your young Nolan, who is in grade school. I coached my son, and when you watch the emotion that he had talking about what a blessing it's been to coach his son, it is a roller coaster sometimes, and you got to be his father. It's just something really special. And when he said it's been a blessing for him, I like that, and I would assume that you agree with that, because coaching your son's been a blessing for you as well.
Yes, getting to experience that now. He's only in 6th grade, but just seeing him get better and love the game, and the joy on his face when he's in the gym and playing.
He's a gym rat. Every gym I go into, he was out at Waukesha South.
He was there and I wasn't.
Yeah, and you weren't even there. Hey, so Milwaukee Academy of Science is going to take on Lake Mills, the Elk Cats, 24-4 overall, undefeated in the Capital North Conference, and coached by Steve Hicklin, his 13th year as the head coach at Lake Mills. And we talked to Steve. He was talking about what he thought was the turning point of this season.
Our conference is tough. We always have our crosstown rival Lakeside Lutheran, who has stood in our way the last couple of years. I know they've been at the state tournament 2 years in a row. We were there in 2021. So the Capital has had a really good track record of being successful at the state level. They beat us in the sectional semifinals last year, and that was always kind of the anvil hanging over our head. So, when we beat them in our regional final, we won our conference without losing a game. That was kind of like the first really big hurdle for us to step over, and then Edgerton was another really tough matchup for us. They beat us in the regular season, and we were able to get them back in the tournament. So I would say those two teams, but I challenged our guys with a really tough schedule. We played all over the state, just to prepare us, because I knew our team was good enough to play in a state tournament, but we needed to be tested in order to succeed here.
Both of us are big fans of his, and thinks that Coach Hicklin out at Lake Mills does a really nice job. And for him to talk about to be able to get past to Lakeside, they're across the street basically. To be able to get past them, such a good turning point, and the fact that he knew before the season started that they had a chance to get to this level, and made sure that he set his schedule getting ready to be able to play some really good competition. I think is a good sign about he very, very knowledgeable of where his program is at. And I think that there are a lot of coaches throughout the state that hope that they might get to this point, but I think you would agree that there are coaches that know that they've got the talent, and we need to make sure that we're tested throughout the season.
Right. I mean, you take a look. He talked about Lakeside Lutheran. They beat them 3 times. Lakeside Lutheran's a really good, well-coached team, Todd Johns. They beat Edgerton. He mentioned Mount Horeb's another really good team that they beat this year. So they're pretty battle-tested as well. And he's been knocking on the door or been there the last 4 or 5 years. And so they've got their hands full for sure with MAS. But they're battle tested. He has been there before. He's played really good teams, and so he'll have a great game plan. He's a great coach, and that to me is one of the top games in the tournament.
Yeah, I agree. And we had said a kind of a must-see game. They're led by A.J. Bender, who was out a couple of games with injury this year, but he's a kid that's been around for a while. He scores it at a really high level, defends hard, gets other guys involved. I'm impressed with him. Have you seen him play?
Just clips here and there. I know he can shoot at everybody on their team. For that's kind of the way they play. They shoot the ball well. He's been around it. He had an older brother that was really good for them as well. And so he's just been around a winning program with a lot of tradition. So this is not going to be something that I think the whole scene at the Kohl Center and playing against MAS I don't think it's going to faze him. I think he's going to have a big game for them.
I agree, and I don't think it's going to faze him. I've seen MAS a couple of times this year, and defensively, when they lock it in, boy, they're really, really good, and they make everything difficult just to change the side of the floor and kind of get into your offense. They'll pick up half, pick up 3/4, and Agape Key does a nice job of changing some of they'll run a 12 press or a 3/4 1-3-1 and just kind of get you guys off your mark a little bit. I think the first 6 or 7 minutes of that game really going to be able to tell if not just AJ, but the rest of that team of Lake Mills can be handled the kind of pressure that MAS brings.
I think you make a great point. I think it's really important for Lake Mills early in that game to withstand just the high energy and emotion that MAS brings. And so if you can get through that first 3 or 4 minutes, and just get everything kind of settled down into where you're just playing. Maybe I'm guessing Lake Mills might want to control the tempo a little bit, and slow it down just a little bit and make it a half-court game. But we'll see. They're not necessarily a half-court team. So
if we had more time, we'd talk about if there should be a shot clock. Maybe later in the show we will get to that. We're going to get to a break. We're going to break down the 2 Division IV matchups coming up next. This is the Current Electric High School Basketball Boys State Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy, only on My 24.